Hello, Tatiana. Welcome back to the Nutra Narratives Podcast and this time a tea break episode. I'm so happy to have you.
Yes, I am always happy to be talking to you and telling you about what's going on in my life because you're always so encouraging.
Thank you. It's so exciting to see where your career continually takes you and where God opens doors for you.
Yes, it's definitely not always been in my control. And I think I finally realized that at the beginning of quarantine that I can't control my career because the more I try to control it, the more it doesn't work out as I want it to.
That is a huge lesson for all of us.
Yeah, it's something that I've learned is to just surrender the control over my career and things end up working out much better.
Okay, so let's back up a bit. The last time that you were here with me on the Nutra Narratives podcast, you were working at the GI clinic, which I believe you still are, and at the medical center at Loma Linda.
Yeah, I'm still working there like one day a week at the GI clinic and one day a month at Loma Linda, or a couple weekend per month.
Okay. And then when COVID hit, I mean, it's not a great time to be living in, but things happened for you career-wise. Can you walk us through that?
So literally the week before quarantine, I was meeting with my therapist and I was like at a breaking point. I was like, I need more time. The driving is killing me because I was spending over 10 hours a week in a car.
Oh, God.
I was commuting to both jobs and I was like at the end, of my ropes. And, my therapist recommended, hey, why don't you start applying for jobs in the area? And I was like, great idea. So that weekend I went on and applied to jobs near me to just kind of control one thing, which is not driving so much.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden quarantine happened and the stay-at-home order got put into place and I got sent home from work. Both jobs, I got significantly decreased hours and I was at home all the time. And I was like, I have all of this time now. God just answered my prayer, which I thought would be impossible. Like, yeah, I prayed for time and then all of a sudden a pandemic hit. Like,
yeah, I know. Like he answered it. He just answered it in a way that you weren't expecting.
Exactly. And of course, like this pandemic is very serious and I mean, it's very sad, but for me, it was a blessing. It was the best thing that's ever happened to me because I was able to have that time at home and to really figure out, okay, how do I want to live my life? It gave me that pause that I needed to one, reconnect with God, and then two, figure out my career and what I really wanted. So that first week of quarantine, I kind of enjoyed it. But then the second week I was like, oh, I need to get on a routine. And that's when I started doing the devotional every morning. And I was like, I just want to like have this one thing where I connect with God because I feel like that is what I need right now. I need to work on my spiritual health. And so I started doing that and, I started feeling better. I was practicing my gratitude practice every day. I mean, the first thing on my gratitude list was thank you for the time I've been given. And then also thank you for coffee and sunshine.
Yes.
But I was just so grateful for the time and like I really utilized it to reconnect with God and I worked on my spiritual health. And then
that's so beautiful.
Yeah, it was lovely. I was genuinely happier too. It's very interesting. Like a lot of people don't realize like how important spiritual health is, but it's something I've ignored. Like I've known I need to work on it, but I've just ignored it because I have so many other things to think about. I was like, that's like on the back burner, but like I finally had the time to put it as a priority. So I started doing that. And then after like a month of quarantine, I was like, I need to like figure out my career still. So, and I knew I wanted to I was already writing the book, right?
When you were with us, you were telling us that you were writing a book.
So I was still writing it and I like entered phase 2 and it was a little bit harder because, anyways, writing a book is very difficult.
Yes.
But I was still doing that. And I came up with the idea of, hey, let me write a like program, like a little downloadable program, just to make some passive income to fund my movement or my brand. So I was like, great, like I like started working on it. I wanted to, initially I came up with food writing. So instead of like food logging or food diary, I was like, oh, food writing, because I'll explain in a second what food
Okay.
But I came up with this program, right? And I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then I was like, this needs to be a journal. And I'm pretty sure like God put that into my head, or, you know, the Holy Spirit.
Yes, prompting you.
Right. Because at that point, I was very in touch with my creativity. And I definitely, I mean, I'm a firm believer, and a lot of people agree with this, is that creativity is like divine. So it comes from God, because God is the ultimate creator. So we are all connected to the ultimate creator. So we all contain creativity.
Oh, I love that so much. Ooh, beautiful.
Yeah. And so I think because I was so connected with God and my relationship, it was just great. I was able to be more creative, and I started getting, you know, I mean, ideas bombarded me. I was like, oh my God, all these creative ideas. And I'm like collecting them, and I'm deciding, okay, like which ones should I implement? Which ones need to be saved for later? And the journal, I was like, this needs to be done, because if I can get this out there, this can be passive income for me. And also because it's, you know, cool. It's a cool journal.
Right.
You know, and I want to help people. That's my ultimate intention. My intention is never to make money. My intention is to help as many people as possible.
Of course.
But sometimes you need to have money to fund yourself, right?
So I was like, well, okay. Especially that your hours were cut.
Yes.
I mean, exactly. You have the right to think in that manner.
Right. Exactly. No, very true. Very true. And so I was like, okay, let me work on this journal. So I did, and it became a very big project. I had to put my other book even aside, because I had to put my full focus on this. And, you know, I had people read through it, give me some feedback. You know, I had my 2 dietitian best friends read through it, and they gave me, they've edited it multiple times. So they were like my best friend editors.
Yes.
And they kept me like on the middle path with writing the book, because it's not intuitive eating, but it's also not like a diet. It's not like a crash diet. It's in between.
Wow.
So I'm taking the middle path with this journal of like, okay, yeah, you want to be mindful of your eating habits, but also like you can try to eat healthier too. Right?
Yes. Love that.
So yeah, and ultimately throughout this whole process, I kept my daily devotional. I was like, this is the number one priority of my day. It's continuing to do that. Obviously going, you know, listening to church or watching church online, right? Because everyone was watching church online. And I do still feel like my spiritual growth is still building, right? I'm not like perfect, obviously.
We will always still be growing in our relationship with God.
Yeah, exactly. So, but just to go back a little bit, I think I skipped over the part where I was like having a crisis about controlling my career. And I finally decided, I was like, I need to seek wise counsel, right? So I talked to my therapist, and I talked to you.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that day I came to the conclusion that I cannot control my career, and that I need to try to surrender it. And I did. And then the journal then, you know, came into existence after I did that. And I realized, okay, I think I'm going to start my brand. I think this is the time. I think this is what God is calling me to do. Now the message isn't totally clear, so I'm also still surrendering the plan at this point. But I think I'm on the right path.
Yes. What is your brand?
My brand is just,
explain that further.
Yeah. So my niche is longevity nutrition. It's not popular, and actually kind of want to just trademark that term.
Yeah.
Like my own thing, because I love MNT and all that, but like to do it all the time, it's not where my heart is. I like to help people get healthy and live a long, like I want that. I want my patients to like live a long life and not have diseases. So more of that prevention. So my brand is longevity nutrition, and included in that is weight loss, obviously, because if someone's overweight, they do need to lose weight in order to live a long life.
Of course, because when they are overweight or obese, they are in this state of inflammation, which leads to those diseases. So you're in the right to be concerned about that.
Yes. So that is my brand. So I don't really like the word business, because it just sounds too like money oriented to me. So I kind of use the words brand and movement interchangeably, because it's so much more than just making money. It's so much more. It's something that I want to, I mean, really just, I'm being vulnerable here, but like, I want to make an impact on how the world eats.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm only starting, like, just wait till I'm 85, you know, like, it's
there you go.
You know, it's in 50 years, I'm gonna be in a different place, because I'm never going to stop this movement, or I'm never going to stop this vision I have.
Yes.
So that's why I use the word brand, because it's kind of a business, but it's also more than that. But Vitamin K Nutrition is my brand.
Ah, beautiful. Can you say that once again, your brand?
What you Vitamin K Nutrition.
Yes, beautiful.
So, and it encompasses, you know, services, which obviously nutrition counseling, mostly longevity nutrition, and also my journal and my book, right? So it's more than just providing services. It's, you know, also encompasses this writing career that I'm trying to start for myself.
So this journal then will help those who have it keep track of what they're eating and correlating it with what are they going to correlate that with?
Yeah. So the journal starts off with more of a self-reflection. Like, where are you? Where are you on the path? How do you even define health? You know, so
it's a great question, right? Because we could define it differently, because everybody is different and we see through different lenses. So that's an excellent question there.
Yeah. So it starts off with these introspective questions on who are you, where are you, what is your definition of health? And then from there, it goes into the 3-step program, which is, you know, first being aware of why you eat. You know, are you eating because you're stressed or guilt, you know, or feeling bad? Are you eating because of those negative emotions, or are you eating because you're physically hungry? Are you bored? So the first part is just being aware of why you're eating, right? And they don't even have to log what they eat. It's just more so to understand the psychology of why they do it, right?
Got it.
And then the second part is mindfulness. So that's where we bring in mindful eating. I think that's a really important tool in longevity, is being mindful of your food and also enjoying it. A lot of people, you know, even when they eat something that should be enjoyable, they feel terrible. You know, they're like, oh, I ate cookies. I'm so mad at myself. And it's like, no, you should have enjoyed it and
savored all the morsels.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the second component. And then the third component is eating well. And that is, you know, encompassing all of the things you learned in the journal, plus, you know, eating a healthful diet, which I just kind of give like a little bit in there of like what a healthy diet looks like, just very general. Like, there should be no controversies in there, because nutrition is controversial and I think it's very highly individualized.
Right.
So the last section is just general healthful eating. And then, you know, they continue to journal about, oh, hey, I did really well adding more vegetables, or I didn't do very good at this, but I want to do better, right? So the journal is more there for them to have that internal dialogue so that they can make a change. Because I have found with my patients, my weight loss program patients, they figure things out when they talk to me. They'll like tell me all the problems they had over the week, and it clicks for them once they say it out loud, once they have that dialogue and hear themselves say it. Then something clicks and they're like, oh, I need to do this. So the journal is meant to be that, without seeing a dietitian for 6 months to a year, because ultimately you get through a lot of dialogue within the journal.
That is amazing that you developed this in a short amount of time. It's such a beautiful package. It's a beautiful program that I know is effective, and people need to buy it. People need to buy it. I already ordered mine on Amazon, so I can't wait to have it in my hands, hold it, see it, and just continue to dig into it.
Yeah, and I think for dietitians, like any dietitian that's listening, you don't have to complete the program, but you can absolutely read through the pages, because, you know, it goes through each section, and then, you know, for part 1, after you read the section, then you fill out the pages. you go through the 10 days of practicing this
Yeah.
exercise. And so, if you're a dietitian or a nutrition student, you could feel free to do the whole program. Like, that'd be great. Give me some feedback. Or you can just read through it and understand, okay, this is the steps that are necessary to make a lifelong behavior change.
Yes. It's a tool for nutrition professionals, dietetic professionals, but people who listen in can actually use it for themselves too, to help them in their personal journey as well. So,
I know sometimes I struggle with mindful eating. I'll be like in front of a screen and eating on something crunchy. Instead, like, we should pause and enjoy the food. And I've noticed from my experience that a lot of people that are elderly and healthy, like in their 90s, centenarians, they have a really good relationship with food. Yeah. They love food. They don't feel any negative emotions, even with the most unhealthy foods. So that tells me that there's something there with a healthy relationship with food.
You just gave me an idea to give to you for a research study. It's to do interviews with the centenarians and those in their 90s.
That is on my list. I have thought about that for sure.
Yeah, do some qualitative data.
Travel the world and visit all the centenarians across the world in the blue zones. And I know many people have done this where they like recall their diet, but I really think that there's more than just to what they eat. Even though there are some common discrepancies between all the blue zones that we know. We're like, okay, a lower animal product diet is shown to increase longevity. And most of these centenarians do have, they still eat meat, but they just don't eat it every day, right?
Exactly.
So they follow more of a plant-based, flexitarian diet.
Exactly. So true.
So, but that's
I told you about that word that Dr. Medina and I made up.
Flexitarian.
Flexitarian. Plant-based flexitarian.
Okay, can I use that term?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Okay. It's so fun to say, and
it is. And I feel like we do need another word, because I feel like flexitarian. It's like sometimes you're like plant-based, sometimes you eat meat, but I think we need a term that is most predominantly plant-based, but they eat animal products occasionally.
Yes, exactly.
And like the 20-80 rule, where it's like 20% animal products and then 80%.
Right. Exactly. This is my thinking too. Excellent. That is wonderful. Flexitarian. So it's like Plaxatarin. Yeah, we were at a meeting at Drayson and we were waiting for the chair of the meeting to come in, and we love to talk about nutrition. And so we were like, oh, well, what about? And then he was the one that said the word. And I'm like, oh my. So
great. So I've thought about that, because I'm in one of my chapters. It is about protein, or I guess more so veganism, and I'm trying to create like a spectrum of like all the diets, right? Because there's like carnivorism, and then there's also veganism, which are like so extreme. But I feel like there's a perfect middle ground. Yeah. And I like the word flexitarian for that middle ground.
Right. So true. So what was the rest of the process of getting the book off the ground and onto Amazon? Boy, that went like quick. I mean, literally, this was, okay, I just need to pause and say this. When you surrender your will to God and God says, okay, all right, you're letting me take over, well, then here it goes. It's almost like you can't stop God from having him deliver his will for you. It goes so fast, you can't even stop it.
Yeah, that's very true. And I think because I had to remind myself day after day, it just kind of built momentum. And, now I'm of course I still struggle with, strengthening my faith, but now I'm realizing how important it is. And I can't even imagine what my life would be like if I completely, 100% surrendered. Like, God's plans for me, I truly believe believe this. God's plan for me is bigger than all of my dreams. And I have really, really big dreams, but I do believe that God's plan for me is bigger than that.
Yes. Oh, you've got to believe it. You just go ahead and believe it, because that's what God likes to hear. He loves to hear that faith in him, and he blesses it for sure. Yeah. And I also just want to pause right there to also say both you and I have had counselors or therapists. Like you have a therapist now. I had a therapist just helping me sort through the stresses and what I needed to go through my difficult journey of my dissertation. And I just love to encourage people to let them know, never be ashamed to go out and get a therapist, because God works through them to help us.
My therapist is like probably one of the best things that's happened to me too, because it's just, they kind of ground you, you know, that you can come back and say, hey, I did a good job on this week. You know, they hold you accountable. Having a therapist is like the best investment ever.
Correct.
You know, so I don't think there's anything wrong with having a therapist.
No, you know, in the past, I think, you know, there was that stigma that, you need a therapist, you need a counselor, but God gave them this expertise to help us. And this is what I thought. When I had like my foot issue, whatever bodily issues I've had because of sports and things like that, I always went to a physical therapist to help me get through my injuries so that I can get better. And now I'm able to run again, or I'm able to do whatever I needed to do. So I'm like, okay, there's that. Then I had vocal issues. So I went to a vocal therapist, and thank God for the vocal therapist, I'm able to sing again with God's help. I mean, God is the center and all that. So I thought, you know what? It's not going to hurt to have somebody help me get through my stresses of my doctorate degree. And it's been so helpful. That person has been so helpful, not only in the doctorate, but other areas. Then I brought other issues that I thought, I also need help with this and this and this.
I mean, we have issues all the time. Like, they're always present. And I feel like having a therapist helps you be aware of like the problems going on in your life.
Yeah.
So you can start fixing.
No, exactly. But I believe that God works through them. It's not saying that, oh Lord, we don't trust you, you know, that just prayer alone. Prayer is so helpful. That's our connection to God. But that's why he put them here on earth too, to help us and guide us.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, my therapist knows how strong my faith is. And so she always, you know, she acknowledges that works for me, you know? So you're right. Yeah. God definitely does work through the therapist also,
yes. So your therapist, so your therapist was, I bet, just rooting for you in this book when you came up with a different game plan for now.
Yeah, she was impressed. I mean, I haven't had my appointment yet where I'm going to tell her like it's officially out there in the world, but I think she's going to really like it, because I do recommend a therapist for anyone that has a really bad relationship with food. I mean, that's the first thing I would recommend, besides getting a dietitian, of course, is to find a therapist to work on those mental obstacles, because a lot of times there are, like, I guess, micro traumas associated with eating better.
Correct.
So
true. Okay.
Having a therapist is great.
Yes, I agree. So how can listeners get your book?
Okay. So you can go on Amazon and just type in the Food Writing Journal, Tatiana Keay. Or if you want it to be a little bit easier, you can go to my website, vitaminkay.com, and on there, it's one of the big tabs. You can just click on it and the link will be there for Amazon. Or you can go on my Instagram and go to the link in my bio, and it'll be there too. So there's lots of ways to get to it, but it is on Amazon primarily right now. I might be going to other places to try to get it in their stores. But for now, Amazon. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. We'll put all that information in the show notes or in the description so that people will know where to get it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so excited. And thank you for being willing to hop on so quickly. I know I asked you yesterday, and when I found out yesterday that your book came out, I'm like, oh, we can't waste time. We got to tell more people. And
I
so
know. It's funny because I've been wanting to tell everybody about it, but I was like, what if it fails? Like, what if it doesn't work out? What if I can never, because self-publishing is very difficult. I know you asked me that earlier. The process of publishing is not easy. The easier part was creating the content, but then like you have to format the book and then you have to create a cover. I did it all myself. The only help I had was editors.
okay.
AKA my friends. My friends and family were my editors because I don't have like the funds to just go hire an amazing editor or an amazing cover artist. So I did it all by myself because I was like, I think I can do this, and it's just a good little project, right? But formatting the book and then, you know, getting it on Amazon, it's all something I self-taught myself. And it wasn't like the easiest process, but it's doable. So.
Okay. Well, that's encouraging to any dietitian or dietetic student or anyone else listening who wants to put out an ebook or self-published book for now, that it's doable. You could teach yourself how to do it. And
YouTube has a million videos on the self-publishing route, especially through Amazon. So Amazon is really special because they have a print on demand feature. So anytime someone orders my journal, it prints from they have a printer, and they print each individual book per order. Oh. So you're not like traditional publishing, you have to buy X amount of books, right? So you end up having a huge stock of your book. And then what if it doesn't sell? Now you're stuck with 1,000 books. So Amazon's program has completely changed the authoring world. Wow. So you do they only print per order, so there's never excess.
That's a great idea. That's a great program. Boy, you're encouraging me. You're inspiring me. Oh my goodness.
It's fun, but it's also really challenging. Like writing a book is not easy, and there are really hard days, and it requires, I mean, I have read so many self-help books during this quarantine. Like I kind of pause like my nutrition learning for a period of time to just like figure out, okay, like how can I work smarter, not harder?
Yes.
So I've learned to like, you know, be consistent and write even when you don't want to, and like schedule time in to write. It takes a lot of discipline, and if you are one that easily gives up, wait a while before you start writing a book, because you do need a lot of self-discipline. And I personally, like, I felt like my little bit of anxiety pushed me along. And this is something I've talked with my therapist, is that little bit of anxiety and fear has helped me go back to the computer, go back to editing, go back to learning about the process of self-publishing. But it was never, I mean, it used to be a debilitating fear of what if I fail, but now it's more of like, hey, let's complete this, so that way we say we did it, right? And I never really, I came to the conclusion in the beginning that if I didn't sell any, or only my parents bought a journal, I would be okay, because the fact is I finished it. And also, like, I wanted for my patients at the GI clinic, like I'm going to order them all a copy. So, cause it is also for them, because this is what I believe in, you know, this is how I teach them anyways. Right. So for them, like a journal. So I never went in with like, oh, I'm going to expect this journal to sell 1,000 copies or whatever. It's out there, and I did it. And it's a project that I really feel passionate about.
Oh my goodness.
It's actually done.
You deserve a huge congratulations. You do. I am so proud of you. Wow, this is a big accomplishment, and you did it. And you will be helping so many people. Once they get it in their hands, it will be so helpful for them as well. And I love the title, Food Writing Journal. It's not a food log. It's not a food diary. I love how you took it out of the regular, you know, concept of tracking, but you're writing about your experience. And that is just absolutely lovely. And I can see how it's going to help so many people.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, I can't wait. I think mine is coming on Sunday. So I'm looking forward to the weekend so I can have it in my hands and take a look.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited you ordered one. Yeah, I have mine
Oh,
right
well,
here.
there we go. See how beautiful that is?
So,
Your
and
cover
then,
is
I don't know if you
great.
could tell, I came up with this the last minute because I had the cover planned for a while, but at the very last minute, I added this little pen to the cover.
Oh,
So it's like a fork and a spoon, but also pen because you're going to be writing.
genius.
I thought it was really cute, and I'm still really proud of it.
Yes, no, you've got to be proud of that. That's a genius. From a distance, it looks like a knife, but I'm sure once I have it in my hand and you showed it up close, then it's like, oh yeah, it is a pen.
Yeah. So yes, I'm so excited for you to see it and hold it in your hands. And yeah, I hope anyone that does it actually reaches out to me after and gives me feedback, because I appreciate feedback, and I'm ready for negative feedback if it fails, but I'm also ready for like positive feedback.
Yes, but I can tell just hearing about what the content is about, I can tell it's going to be very successful with a lot of positive feedback. I can just tell.
Okay.
So.
Well, it's original. There's nothing out there like it. I've searched because I was like, I want to make sure I'm not copying someone.
Right.
But there's nothing out there. Food writing is not a thing. Food writing, according to Google, was like writing cookbooks. So I created this term. I should probably copyright that too. I don't know.
I think you should copyright that term.
Yeah, I think I should. I don't know any of the legality of like copyright stuff, so I should probably look into that.
Phrases. I know you can copyright phrases.
Yeah. So maybe I should do that with food writing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you so much for being here, taking your time and sharing with us this new chapter in your life and sharing this great new tool that so many of us can use. Thank you so much, Tatiana.
You're so welcome. So glad to be chatting with you about it.
Yay. Likewise.